Salate, ladies. Today we're going to learn our next lesson from Lesson 19 in Latin for Americans. These are third conjugation verbs. Okay, so third conjugation verbs function slightly different, or I shouldn't say they function, they form slightly differently than first and second conjugation verbs. First and second conjugation verbs follow essentially the same pattern. You get the present stem, you add the ending, so on and so forth. Third conjugations are slightly different. Um, First, how do you know a verb is third conjugation? Well, you know it's third conjugation because it ends in ERE, E with no macron in its second principal part. Now, nota bene, do not confuse third conjugation verbs with second conjugation verbs, which have an E with the macron and then RE in their second principal part, okay? This is why it's so important for you guys to learn those four principal parts when you're learning vocabulary, because you need to know what conjugation any given verb is in. You only know that by memorizing its second principal part and memorizing whether that ERE has the macron or does not have the macron. So has the macron, second conjugation, does not have the macron, third. Now, the first way that you're going to see the difference between the third conjugation verbs and the second and first conjugation verbs is how you form the present stem, okay? For first and second, you simply remove the RE from the second principal part, but for thirds, you have to remove the entire ERE ending from the second principal part to get your present stem. What that means, of course, is that your present stem ends in a consonant and not a vowel. So what that means is that you are going to add the vowel to show that you're either in the present tense or the future tense. So what that means is that third conjugation verbs never form the future using the endings bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt, those future endings that you're used to. Only the first and second conjugations form the future by using bo, bis, bit. Okay. Third conjugation uses a vowel change. So if you have the vowel I or U, then you're in the present tense. If you have the vowel E or A for a third conjugation verb, you're in the future tense. Okay, so let's take a look at the charts and see what this means. Present active indicative, you need the first principal part for the first person singular present active indicative, like always. That's always true. After that, you get your present stem, but because your present stem ends in a consonant, you need to add the vowel. And the present vowel is I plus the personal ending. So for the second person singular, that's S. So third person singular, I plus T. First plural, present stem, I plus mus. Second person plural, present stem, I plus tis. Third person plural, present stem, and then a U plus NT. There you go. Third person plural uses a U in the present instead of an I. To form the present active imperative, you need your present stem, and in the singular, you add an E, and in the plural, you add an ITE. There you go. Present active infinitive, second principal part. That's true for first, second conjugations. It's true for third. The future active indicative, again, no bo, bis, bit for third conjugation verbs. Instead, you change the vowel in the first person singular to an A, and then you also add the ending M to the first person singular, but then for the second and third singular, first, second, and third plural, you add an E to show that you're in the future. So future active indicative, present stem plus E plus S, okay? Present stem plus E plus T. Present stem plus E plus mus, present stem plus E plus tis, present stem plus E plus NT, okay? And the great thing about the perfect tense, as I told you guys before, the perfect tense is completely regular. So third conjugation verbs may have a slightly different pattern in the present system, so the present and the future, but for the perfect, it is absolutely regular. So perfect stem plus I plus E ist it, emis istus erunt. Easy peasy. So let's look at an example of a third conjugation verb. Our example is ago, agara, egi, octum. Look how different the third principal part is from the second and first. Again, you just have to memorize that, which is why I do have you memorize them for the vocabulary quizzes. What do you think our present stem is going to be? What do we have to do? Which principal part do we need? So second principal part, remove the ERE, which means that our present stem is ag. So here we have the example, ago, agara, egi, octum, fully conjugated. So you can see the first person singular present active indicative is the first principal part. There it is. Then we get our present stem ag, and then following the instructions from the previous slides, we add the I, and then st, must, tis, and then third person plural instead of an I, it's a you, a gun. So a go, a gis, a get, a gimus, a gittus, a gun. So I do, you do, he, she, or it does, so on and so forth. Our present active imperative, we have our present stem plus e, so age, do, plural agata, do, but more than one person. And then, of course, our present active infinitive is always the second principal part. There it is. So agra, to do. Okay. Again, the biggest departure between first, second conjugation verbs and third is in the future. As you can see, there is no bo bis bit here. Instead, we change the vowel to show that we're in the future. So this E shows us that we're in the future. Okay, so agam, I will do. A gaze, you will do. A get, he, she, it will do. A gamus, we will do. A gatus, you will do. And a gent, they will do. Okay, now this is particularly important for you guys to remember. If you didn't know that ago, agara was third conjugation, you would see that E and think that you were in the present for a second conjugation verb. Again, it's just one more reason why it's so important for you to know the difference between first, second conjugation verbs, specifically second conjugation verbs, and third. And when you memorize your verbs, that you memorize that second principal part as either having the macron or not having the macron. So that when you encounter these words in your translations, you can see that E and say, this verb is third conjugation, so that E tells me this is future. Or this verb is second conjugation, so that E tells me that it's present. The perfect functions exactly the same way for all conjugations. So exactly what you expect, our perfect stem gotten from the third principal part, so ag, agi, agisti, agit, agimus, agistus, agirunt, so I did or I have done, so on and so forth. Okay, there is one last little lesson that I need to give to you guys, and that is on apposition. Okay, apposition is not a particularly difficult concept. When one noun or phrase gives more information about another noun or pronoun, that is called an appositive, okay? And in Latin, appositives are in the same case as the noun they are explaining. They don't have to be the same number, they don't have to be the same gender, but they have to be the same case. In English, we identify appositives because they're often set apart by commas. So I have just a simple example here for you. Marcus amicus meus est poeta clarus. So Marcus, my friend, so here's the appositive, right, giving us more information about Marcus, is a famous poet. A little predicate nominative there again, ladies, because again, anytime we can reinforce the predicate nominative, we should. So again, my friend is just more information about Marcus, so my friend is the appositive. Or you could also say that my friend is in apposition to Marcus. All right, that's it for this lesson. Bring your notes in tomorrow, and I hope you all have a good night. Walete.